The South West Coast Path is one of England and Wales' national trails. National trails are long-distance routes for walking, cycling and horse riding through the finest landscapes in England and Wales. In Scotland, the equivalent trails are called long-distance routes. There are 15 national trails in England and Wales, and the South West Coast Path is the longest. To walk it all would take around 56 days, but most people choose to walk the path in sections, discovering its rugged and remote cliff tops, steep coastal valleys and busy harbours and resorts at their own pace. For my trek of discovery along the South West Coast Path, I'm based at the Nair Hotel on the south coast of Cornwall. And to tell me more about the path and the area, I'm meeting Peter Maxted and Julian Powis from the Cornwall Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty on the Nair's rather windy terrace. So Peter, tell me about the South West Coast Path.
Well, the South West Coast Path begins in Minehead in the north and runs all the way around to Poole in Dorset in the south. But at least half of it is the Cornish Coast Path and takes in, well, all of the coast of Cornwall, actually.
It's one of the reasons that I'm still in Cornwall. I came down here to study, and I fell in love with the idea that you can leave the house in the morning and just wander off for 4 hours and look at the sea and think and occasionally spot dolphins. It's a glorious little path of freedom. I love it.
So what's your favourite part of the coast path?
I joined the path at a place called Swanpool, which is sort of a brackish lake, which is kind of interesting in itself, surrounded by a sort of woody marsh, which is a sort of otherworldly place to enter the coast path from. Then I climb from there and I walk along the coast path just going north. And I don't really like to look at the map. I like to sort of meander and get a bit lost and see where I end up and discover new little beaches. Discovering tiny beaches that are completely empty, that may be covered by the sea for most of the day. You're exploring and discovering things. It's lovely.
So tell me about the AONB.
Well, the Cornwall Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty is about a third of Cornwall and it takes in all the best parts of the coast. So I would say at least 80–90% of it runs through the Cornwall AONB, basically the best bits of the county.
So what exactly can you find in the area?
Well, of course there's a stunning coastline, very different on the north coast to the south coast. The north coast is more rugged, the south coast is softer and more gentle. Inland, of course, we've got Bodmin Moor and the Camel Estuary, but you know, you've got pretty much everything. You've got Cornish archaeology, you've got fantastic stone walls, you've got stunning views, high cliffs, shingle beaches, sand beaches. You know, the variety in Cornwall is probably greater than it is anywhere else in the country.
The South West Coast Path Association exists to support the interests of users of the path, and its secretary, Steve Church, tells me more about the path's history.
It started originally, largely anyway, as a route for coast guards to get around the entire coast of the southwest. Goes way back. Some of the bits can be dated back to the 1700s. Some places you've still got some of the old coast guard cottages, the old coast guard lookouts, which dot the path as it goes around. Obviously, large bits have disappeared in the interim since those days, since those very early days. But following on from an Act of Parliament in the late 1940s, it became one of the so-called national trails, or long-distance paths as they were originally called. Longest one in the country, 630 miles, which does follow these old Coast Guard paths. But of course, so many of them disappeared that after the official legal setting up of the coast path happened, it was a situation whereby the line was there on the map, but so often the line wasn't there on the ground. And in actual fact, it was that situation which did lead to the establishment of the South West Coast Path Association back in the 1970s.
And to tell me more about walking in Cornwall, I'm meeting the managing director of the Nair, Toby Ashworth, who was out for an afternoon walk along the beach with his dog Hector.
So tell me about walking in Cornwall. Best bits, of course, is the coastline. We're just so lucky with the coastline. You've got the south coast and the north coast, but I rather like the south coast. You've got lovely headlands to walk around. It's well protected by the National Trust, and that is leaving it pretty well, as you would have probably seen it 80 years ago as well, which is rather nice, and that's what we like. I love the walking. You've got nice little stints. You can go as far as you like, or as far And some people, and of course we've got the beaches. I mean, there's a lovely flat beach here, and that's really is lovely. That's what makes it.
So it's a great place to come with dogs, isn't it?
We're lovely. I mean, we've got the coastal footpath, lovely bits for the dogs. Dogs absolutely love it, and as long as their legs can go, and you've got the beach as well. And this is really a walking beach, and sometimes there are more dogs in it sometimes than humans. Carn, this is Carn Beach, actually comes from Cornish for walking. Carn means walking, so it's the walking beach. And a lot of people like to come down, and some, you know, especially if you can't do all the steep hikes and all the rest of it, to take, you know, along there. And just walking along the beach, sometimes you can just put the world to rights. It's a lovely way to sort issues out and problems out and things.
Basing yourself close to the coast is a real bonus when you're intending to walk parts of the South West Coast Path.
Well, the Nair is right on the coastal footpath, and that's one of the beauties. We've got, you can either go that way or that way. There's walking whichever way, and there's a lovely little walk inland as well. So people can choose the level that suits them, and some go for a hike and push out the miles, some go and we go and pick them up from the other end of the station too. And it's something for everyone, even if it's just a little stroll on the beach. Sometimes people come down for a little walk after dinner, you know, in the moonlight. It's horses courses.
And the hotel is dog friendly too, isn't it?
Yes, well, I think it would be a sacrilege if you had a beach like this and walking around here not to be dog friendly. It would be very. And the other side, of course, I've got my dog, and it'd be rather hypocritical if I were to say no dogs allowed. What we find is actually our owners of dogs who care about their dogs and come on holiday, look after them beautifully and really care about them, and it just works. It's just one of those things that works. So we like to see dogs around.
With its 630 miles to choose from, the South West Coast Path is a stunning trail, one of the best in the world. And basing yourself in a hotel along the coast, like the Nair, is a great way to discover it. And our website has more information about walks around Britain.